my defensive back coaches here. I love both of them dearly. As a kid, Coach saw something in me special, and he took a liking and was dead in my life from the time I went to Rutgers in 1986, and he made a difference from the time he looked me in my eyes and told me to go to college. And I told Coach, I said, Coach, where I'm from, people don't go to college. And he said it again, and I knew he was serious. And that moment changed my life into what it is to now, and everything they did in my life, I try to do as a coach, try to do as a person. Coming from a broken environment, it meant the world to me, and I love him dearly, like a biological father. And everything Coach Andrews did, it prepared me for life after high school and my accomplishment in the NFL, and made me the man I am today. So I'm grateful to both of them. But I know everybody's here tonight. I know we're hurting, we're upset, we're disappointed. I know Joe works for ESPN. We're going to love on him tonight, because that's what we do at the Seminoles Nation. I have a 24-hour rule in my life from being an athlete for so long. It's a real thing when you become a high-level athlete that the 24-hour rule is in full effect. I tried to implement it into my life, and Sunday, I was on the 24-hour clock. I went home and got on my sofa, and I turned my back to the TV. Like I had went wide left, wide right. It is hard to win a championship. And when you think you do everything right, we have the right captain in front of us. Mike is a great leader. He's a great person. I just know that we're hurting, but we've been down. The foundation of Florida State football is very solid because of the architect, and that was Coach Brown. The baton got passed on. We gave him a standing ovation. Jimbo came here and did everything he could do to put us in that championship game. We got there. We 13-0 thinking we're going to have a chance to run it again. We have a lot of heartbroken kids, but we're living in a different generation of football. So we don't know, you don't know, because teams, it's almost like the NFL, just to be real. But we're in a very good place with our leader. We have a great group of core players, great coaches, and people that's connected to the program, from the training room to the equipment room to the academic staff. Them hiring me was just a plus. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be back at Florida State. It blesses me every day that I get to walk in the Moore Center, because I did that 33 years ago. You know, I have some coaches that coached with me in high school, coaches that I coached against. Trey Fisher, he played for me at Garvey. So it's a big, life is a circle. So our program, we will circle back to this moment again. And when we get back to it, we'll be in great shape. You know, at the end of the day, we got to go finish this season off. We got to circle the wagon and get the troops back all up and try to go down to Miami on the 30th and finish the season off the right way. And at the end of the day, we know in our hearts, we champions, because we Seminoles. So I know Hughie wanted them to have some questions. If you have questions, because he gave me 8 minutes. And it's pro bono, so let's get it on. That's my Gatto.
It used to be that defense wins championships, as you well know, is one of the best defenders that's ever for us. Is there a difference now? I mean, defense still wins championships, right?
No, I think people think football is different. You know, I think the field is still 100 yards, 53 wide. If you get 11 guys that'll run to the ball and put their helmet on, your defense do still win championships. Because at the end of the day, the people that they put in, their defense had to prevail at the end of the game. Right. You know, they want to see all these scores, but when you put real football players out there with intent to be violent, you know, I think this is what people don't realize. They're trying to take a violent game and make it unviolent. The kids that play football, I'm just going to be very straightforward. They are coming from inner cities, rural country towns. They have nothing. And when you get the right group of those guys that are run to the ball and strike you, they're coming in with intent to hurt you. So defense does still win championships.
please don't give any names because they'll lose the game. There's some players that are contemplating not playing in the Orange Bowl. And as a coach, would you get ahead of all this media stuff? Because it's a no-win situation for us going to the Orange Bowl. Because they'll say, oh, Georgia had people sit out. Or if they don't and we lose, it's going to be, well, Florida State didn't belong in the playoffs. So are there kids debating whether or not to play in this game that have first-round money that they're looking at? And or are we, as an organization, getting ahead of that maybe?
I think we're ahead of it, to be honest, but we can't stop kids that want to not take another risk to be injured.
Right.
We're living in different times. I'm very old school. You're going to play football, you're taking a chance to get hurt. And so, but the ones that decide to opt out, they opt out. We can't stop them from opting out. And that's just the generation we're living in.
Right.
You know, the Bosa brothers didn't play football. They last year in college and still was top 5 draft picks. So at the end of the day, those kids, and this is the thing about it though, there's only 32 picks in every round. So there's only 32 first rounders. So I don't think if you don't have a first or second round grade for real, you need to be trying to play in the bowl game. That would be my information that I will give to our players if they ask for it. But I'm not going to try to tell the player what's best for him and his future and his family. Yes, ma'am.
Coach Fuller,
Yes.
we want to thank you very much for your amazing Instagram account, where you are motivating all of us to get in shape as you're getting in shape every day. So we want to know, what is the secret sauce that you're using to motivate our defense to be on fire this season?
Well, every now and then we just talk. I'm a talker. The guys that coach with me, I lead like Coach Bound, which Coach Higgins was a little like that. But the tenacity of the program that I've always led is the same way I play, and it comes from Mickey Andrews. You gotta be getting to that ball with intention to hurt somebody.
What's your greatest memory on the field as a Nole?
Well, unfortunately, the Gators in the house. The last game in 1994 against Florida, the game we was down 31-3. It probably was overshadowed, believe it or not. Coach, you remember that game I had 7 tackles, 4 broke up passes, interception, a cold storm. But we was down 31-3 at halftime. So that was, and then we played them in the Sugar Bowl, and we just continued on, and then we beat their butt. Y'all can ask questions because you already told me. I'm going to go ahead and let the secret out. When you stand up, it's over. So go ahead and ask your questions.
I'm just wondering if with all this brouhaha with CFP, if that's going to affect negatively recruiting. Say you can't win a championship if you go there because they're not going to let you play.
No, I don't think it's going to affect that. We have, like I told you, the program is in a great state with Coach Mike. Mike is very personal. He loves on the kids. He has, I've said it publicly, but I've said it to him in private. He has a lot of Bobby Bauman in him. So the kids that's being recruited, we're targeting kids that fit the program and understand that there's a lot of work that go into it. So really, it ain't gonna be negative us. We might end up being negative because when you win, everybody want to get in.
Transfer portal has been great to us, but what changes do you want to see to help schools limit the number of departures this year?
Well, I have no control of that. That's a good question, but I think you need to talk to the NCAA, all these head coaches around the country. They set a lot of these rules, you know. I feel in high school in the state of Florida, you can go to any high school you want to. I like that. You know, you only get one time to do it, so it's kind of tricky. But the portal's full of a lot of kids, too, that run in there and don't never get to run out. So I think it's the times we're living in, I don't agree with it. I've said it a couple of times. I'm very old school. I don't agree with leaving. In the midst of all the accolades he talked about, I started only 13 games in college. My last year. This generation of kids will leave. And it was hard every day. I've cried. I went in my room and cried and looked in the mirror and not gonna be broke because my mother, my grandmother, my dreams of where I came from and what it stood for. We had a lot of pride from the high school we went to, the community. Those days are gone. When kids don't have their way, because recruiting is a thing where we're gonna tell you what we need to tell you, but you got got to come and improve all that stuff we saw on film in high school. You got to do that all over again. In the time of kids want to wait because they think it's a microwave, you can't stick your career into a microwave and come out and be ready. Food is cooked on the stove, but the young generation don't want to wait that long. Back home. Go ahead.
Coach, you got any good stories about any good Mickey Andrews stories on practice?
Now you see him. I have Coach Hickman part of him. I have allergies, so I make this funny noise. My nose get to aggravate me. And my very first meeting, I was a freshman. I'm gonna tell this one story. The room was dark. It was me, Cliff, Corey, Sawyer. And back in those days, the freshmen came 3 days before the upperclassmen came. And we were sitting in the room, and we had came from outside to practice, so we were still hot, and the room was cold, so it set my nose off. The coach turned up, "What the hell is that?" And I was making that noise, and I told the coach I got allergies. And he never said it again, but it was one of the funniest stories. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. We got some games where we held Eric Reck to 0 yards out on that field.
But it's one of the best.
Yeah, it's the moment is one of the best moments of defense in Florida State history. Collectively as a defense, you know, they play lights out, man. And they needed to, though. When you're down to your third quarterback, you needed to. That is the biggest problem with the decision they made. Football is the ultimate team sport. I ran track, I played baseball, but football, everybody got to be willing to do their part every play to make it work. Now you got a two-part question. Now hold on, I got a two-part question.
The other part is, do you think any of the other 4 teams that are in the college football playoff could have gone to their rival at their house, beat them with their second-string quarterback, then gone to a conference championship and win their conference?
I have a lot of, I believe deeply in God. Let me say this to you. I cannot watch Florida State and watch them other 4, but Alabama went to Auburn and they did a 4th and 31. That's all I can tell you what I saw. But I am a realist. We played the Southeastern Conference team when we was here. That conference has got more credit for what they've done over the years, and they continue to live off that, and now it's punishing everybody else in football. But we can't. One thing I want to do before I leave the microphone, Seminole Nation, display your anger, 24 more hours, let it go. It's still milk up under the bridge. We can't do nothing about it. We got to move on. They're not going to change nothing. You was up. One more question, please. Yes. Yes, Miss Keisha, go ahead. I coach your son.
You have always spoken. Some people speak and their words don't mean the magnitude of them speak. At what pivotal point in your life that you knew that you know what my words speak a lot and honorable?
Like I said, when Coach Hickman told me when I was in the 9th grade, because they moved me up to varsity, I was being bad with the JV coach. He told me to run 60 hills. I told him I'm not running those 60 hills. It was getting dark at that time. But I went home as a kid one night, and I looked at everybody, all the guys my age, we leave to go to school, they're out there playing basketball. We come home, they playing basketball, the guys that didn't want to do nothing with life. And one day I told myself, I got tired of hearing my mother cry, my grandmother. My grandmother lived in the same community we lived up on top of the hill. And I said to myself, I'm going to put my best foot forward and never look back. And I prayed to God that night, and I've never looked back. I've been from the hood to Hollywood. I've never been drunk, and I've never been high in my life. And it's a decision I made based on things that I feel. And so, I didn't want to, back then we had Say No to Drugs. We used to do that at Florida State and go to the local schools and everything. So I didn't want to be a hypocrite. I didn't want to go stand in front of kids and not have my degree. And school was a challenge for me, but I did everything they told me to do, and that's why I'm able to stand here. I love y'all. Go Noles. Keep chopping.